Hi friends, good morning and welcome to this new class. And the topic that we are dealing with these days is the poverty as a challenge. What are the measures that government has taken in order to overcome this poverty, to bring everyone above poverty line? What is the procedure? What is the method that is available? What are the requirements we need to receive in order to receive all the people into the economic limelight, to bring to the development, part of the development. And we saw that government wants to bring anti-poverty measures, especially to those poor people who are below the poverty line. So especially targeting them, government introduce certain programs, certain works in order to help them to come up so that they will be able to reach in par with others. And today let us see, in spite of doing all these anti-poverty measures, the people are still lagging behind. The people are still remaining in the poor situation, below poverty line. So what are the challenges that are laying ahead to the government and to each one of us? So it is our responsibility to bring everyone above the poverty line, because if everyone becomes financially stable, then we can say our country is a developed country. So it is a pride for every one of us to call our country as a developed country, or our fellow human beings or our fellow human citizens are all in a self-sufficient manner. They are able to live a normal life. So to reach that state, it is really a work that is hard. So government has to try, and each one of us also have to try. Only then we will be able to reach the benefits of achieving that freedom, economic freedom, where we will be able to manage ourselves to meet all our requirements and so on. So let us take page number 39, the challenges ahead. What are the challenges that are laying ahead of us in order to achieve that economic freedom? So poverty has certainly declined in India. So comparing to that state where we received independence in 1947, the present state of economic situation is much better than in 1947. But we cannot say we have achieved completely a perfect position or perfect state of economic freedom. So we need to achieve more. Certainly we have improved, but that is not enough. But despite the progress that we have achieved, the success that we have achieved, poverty reduction remains India's most compelling challenge. So poverty reduction, that still remains. We need to reduce that poverty still. Poverty is still existing, and we need to reduce that one, and that becomes the most important thing for us, and that is a very great challenge that is laying ahead of us. And wide disparities in poverty are visible between rural and urban areas and among different states. So if you compare between people who are living in the rural area, people who are living in the urban area, there is such a vast difference is there in the financial situation, in the economic life that they are living. There is so much of difference is there. And also between different states, people in some states they are quite well to do, and people in some other states they are all poor, they're all living below poverty line. So when we compare between one area to another area, or from one state to another state, we see the economic situation or economic condition of the people are not same. Some are in a high position or in a well-to-do position, others are just managing their day-to-day life, struggling to live, or even struggling to have a meal per day. So much of difference is there. And certain social and economic groups, we know certain social and economic groups, they are more vulnerable to poverty. Certain groups, they are very much vulnerable, they are affected, always they can be affected to poverty. How? Poverty reduction is expected to make better progress in the next 10 to 15 years. So if it is going on at this level of development, within next 10 to 15 years, we are hoping that this poverty will be reduced and the progress will start. The economical development progress will start. And this would be possible mainly due to higher economic growth, increasing stress on universal free elementary education, declining population growth, increasing empowerment of the women and the economically weaker sections in society. So, how are we expecting within next 10 to 15 years that this economic situation will improve in our country and the poverty will be reduced? So we are hoping because of these things. That is, first of all, we believe that our economic growth is going higher and higher. So we are going to achieve a higher economic growth. When that economic growth is higher, that money will be divided. The benefit will be divided among all sections of the society, and so everyone's income will increase and they will be able to live a little more better life than the previous life. And then another thing is increasing stress on universal free elementary education. Government is stressing for free elementary education, that is up to 14 years of age, children will be given free education. And so government is stressing on that one, showing the importance of that education. So if the children are educated up to the elementary level, then they will be able to do better. They can get job, they can, even if they are doing farming, they will be able to farm better. More than an ignorant person, an educated person will be able to do better farming. So education will help the children to live their life in a better way, do their work in a better way, and so on. Then another thing is declining population growth. Early we said the problem was that the per capita income is low, but the population rate is very high. Population growth is very high. So now government has made people aware about the need to control the population growth, and therefore the number of children are declined. The birth rate has been declined or reduced, and therefore less people and more opportunities. So we'll be able to get more profit, more income. Then increasing empowerment of women. So earlier women were just made to remain at home, do only the homework or housework, cleaning, all those things. They were never allowed or they were never given opportunity to go and work. Now the government is empowering women, encouraging the women to come out, take up different tasks, not only just sitting at home and cooking the food and cleaning the house alone, but go out and work and earn, so that their financial situation also will increase, the family income also will increase. Otherwise only the husband alone is working, and that is meant for all the members of the family, it will be very less. Suppose both husband and wife are working, then they will have more income and they will have a better economic life. So that way government is trying to empower women. All these things are required in order to achieve that economic freedom or to live a better life of financial life. And also government is trying to help the economically weaker sections of the society. The previous class we studied about different targeted programs. Government is arranging certain program targeting only for certain weaker sections of the society because they need special attention to come up in their life. If the government is treating everybody equally, those who are smart, they will get the benefit, and those who are poor, they will be left out, and so on. So in order to avoid that, the government is trying to target on these poor people, weaker sections of the society, maybe the low caste people, maybe the scheduled caste people. So all these people are weaker sections of the society. Therefore government is trying to do something special for them, so that they also will be able to come up in life, and so on. And the official definition of poverty, we can say, it is capturing only a limited part of what poverty really means to the people. So, if you look at only the definition of poverty, it is not including all the sections of the people. It is only meaning only a limited section or limited meaning. So, poverty is much larger than the definition speaks about. For example, it is about a minimum subsistence level of living rather than a reasonable level of living. So, in the earlier classes, we have seen that when we say people who are living below poverty line, that means they don't have a certain level of income. That means anyone who is able to have a meal per day, or this much certain amount of money for spending every day, then they are considered not as a poor. But with that money, they will be just able to survive their life, not able to live their life every day, not live a life that is reasonable. They will be just sitting, and they will be just struggling to survive. So that is why we say definition of poverty is not including all these levels. So we must be able to say poverty means a person should be able to live a reasonable level of living. So he should be able to live a reasonable level, not just minimum level, but a reasonable level should be there. And many scholars advocate that we must broaden the concept into human poverty. So we must say there is a human poverty is there. What is human poverty? That is, a number of people may have been able to feed themselves, but do they have education? Do they have shelter? Or do they have health care? Do they have job security or self confidence, and so on? So, according to the definition of the government, anyone who is able to have certain amount of money for food, they are not poor. But there are so many other elements are required for living a normal human life. For example, they need to have education, they need to have shelter, they need to have healthcare, hospital facilities, they need to have job security. Otherwise, if they are not sure tomorrow after my education I will have job or not, they will be living in a anxiety. So that security is there. If I have studied, I will get a job. If government can assure them, then that will give them confidence, and they should have the self confidence, and so on. So if all these things are not there, we can say they are experiencing human poverty. So otherwise we were just concentrating only about food, whether these people are able to have food or not. That was the only thing that we were concerned about. But we need to realize that food alone is not enough for living a normal human life. You need to have education, you need to have proper house for shelter, and he need to have proper health care. In case he gets sick, he should have the facility to have treatment. That is, there should be good doctors, nurses, and good facility, hospital with a lot of facilities, and there should be provision for people to get employment, and people should live in confidence, and so on. If all these things are not there, we can call that these people are living in human poverty. They may have food to eat, but other human elements are not there, so they are having human poverty. So remember, what are the things that are included in order to overcome this human poverty? What are they? One is education, shelter, healthcare, job security, and self-confidence. These are the things needed in order to have this human, in order to overcome this human poverty. Then, are they free from caste and gender discrimination? So, in order to live a human life, in order to overcome this human poverty, we also need to have people to live a free life. Now we know in India caste system is very strong in some places still. Though we have got freedom more than 70 years ago, we are still living with that attitude that that person is a low caste, this person is a high caste, this person is scheduled tribe, and so on. So we have that kind of attitude is still there in our mind. So we should be able to shed all these feelings behind, and we should be able to say he is a human being, we belong to same country, we are same citizens, we should be able to live together, work together, and so on. So we should not think too much about caste and so on, and we should be able to work together, and we should be able to avoid gender discrimination. What is gender discrimination? That means one gender is given more importance. That means in our Indian society, the boys are given more importance, the girls are given less importance. If your parents are poor, then they don't have the enough money to send all the children to school. They'll give priority to the boy. Boy will be sent to school and girl will be made to work at home. So that is called gender discrimination. So both boy and girl, or male or female, both should be given equal opportunity. Both should be given equal chance to study, work, and perform their duties and so on. That is also required. So all these things are challenges that are laying ahead. At present, we are not able to achieve these things. We need to work hard towards this. In achieving this, then only we will be able to achieve these things. And another thing that we need to do is practice of child labor is still common in many places in our country. If you go to some workshops, if you go to some houses, we can see children are working at different areas. They are working from morning till evening. They have no opportunity to go to school and so on. So that is still prevalent in our country. The law is there, but the law is not implemented properly. Then worldwide experience shows that with development, the definition of what constitutes poverty also changes. So, as we go through the different parts of the world, we see different people in different areas are suffering from different problems, and therefore we can say the definition of poverty should vary from place to place. Different people's problems should be addressed. We cannot just say those who have got money to buy food or those who have got food to eat, they are no more poor. We cannot just say that. We have to see all the other problems that are existing among different sections of the society. If you solve all this problem only, really we can say we are overcoming the poverty. And eradication of poverty is always a moving target. So if you want eradicate means remove. If you want to remove this poverty, it is always a moving target. A target is moving, not always a fixed target. If you have overcome or achieved one target, then another target may be there. For example, if you have achieved the illiteracy and educated everyone, then another target is there. Maybe there are many people who are without shelter. After achieving that target, maybe we have to say job security. After achieving that target, we have to see there is another target of child labor. So it is always moving. The target is going on moving. In order to achieve that perfect eradication of poverty, we need to keep on working. We can never say we have achieved that. And then hopefully we will be able to provide the minimum necessary in terms of any income to all people by the end of next decade. So that is our hope. By the end of next decade, that means at the end of next 10 years, we may be able to provide what is the basic necessary for all human beings. That means everybody will have at least the minimum required amount of income, and they will be able to live their normal life. But the target will move on for many of the bigger challenges that still remain, providing healthcare, education, job security for all, and so on. So by next 10 years, we may be able to increase the income of the people, but as we said, the target is moving. There are many other targets are also to be achieved. We may be able to achieve only one target within next 10 years, but other targets like providing education for all, health care for all, job security for all these targets are still pending. So we need to do all those targets. We need to achieve all those targets as well. And achieving gender equality and dignity for the poor, that is also very important. We should be able to convert our society into a society where the gender equality is there. Both male and female are equally honored, equally respected, equally wanted. That we should convert our present society into that level where everyone is equally respected. And then there should be also dignity for the poor. So very often we have two people, one is a rich person, another one is a poor person. Everybody will be going to honor and respect that rich person, and the poor person will be left there on the side. So that kind of attitude, that kind of partiality should change, should be over, should be stopped, and we should be able to honor the dignity for the poor of the poor. Everyone has got equal dignity. Everyone is respected, honored for what they are. And these are the biggest challenges that are waiting for us, that are awaiting. So we can never say we have achieved, or within next 10 years we will achieve the eradication of poverty. But when we achieve one target, a lot of targets are still coming up. We will be able to we have to face all those targets that are there, and we have to work hard towards achieving the goal in eradicating the poverty and so on. So we come to the end of this lesson where we talked about the poverty, which remains still a challenge for our country, for all of us. And so it is not just one person alone can go on working, but the government, the officers, the rich people, the ordinary people, everyone have to work towards that goal of achieving freedom, achieving economic freedom, and then only we will be able to eradicate the poverty from our country, and treat everyone equally, and help everyone to live with self dignity and so on. So let us hope that we all will be part of that process of eradicating poverty from our country, and work for a better world where everyone is living freely, respecting each other, supporting each other, and working for a better country. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. We'll meet you again in the next class with a new topic. Until then, bye.